President Biden has 7 days to meet his self-imposed deadline to nominate the first black woman to ever sit on the Supreme Court. The Wall Street Journal reported today that Biden has begun the interview process for potential nominees. The Associated Press reported that the shortlist comes down to 3 finalists: Judge Michelle Childs, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, and California Supreme Court Justice Leondra Kruger. Kruger is the most recent contender to find herself in the media spotlight. At the age of 45, she would be the youngest member of the court. Her record reveals a liberal outlook combined with a conservative interpretation of the law. Just last month, Kruger ruled with the court's majority to uphold the death penalty for 3 men convicted of killing 3 boys in 1993. But she also issued her own opinion, admonishing the trial judge for forcing the defendants to wear stun belts in the trial, which sends off an electrical shock and are used if defendants pose a threat. Requiring a defendant to wear physical restraints at trial can pose significant risks of unfairness, she wrote. New reporting has also zeroed in on U.S. District Court Judge Michelle Childs, who has the backing of both Representative Jim Clyburn and Senator Lindsey Graham from her home state of South Carolina. The American Prospect revealed last week that during her time as a circuit court judge, Childs sentenced a man to 12 years in prison for selling 8 ounces of weed. After Willie Roy Goodwin was caught on camera repeatedly selling marijuana to an undercover cop in 2009, Childs found him guilty of drug trafficking for his cumulative sales. The Richmond Public Defender's Office disputed her assertion. This is simply incorrect. The defendant must be in possession of at least 10 pounds of marijuana to be found guilty of trafficking. Childs sentenced Goodwin to serve a minimum of 85% of his sentence regardless of good behavior. Goodwin left prison in 2016. He told the American Prospect, "They had me sleeping next to murderers on a weed charge, and they were going home before me." Joining me now to discuss is Elie Mystal, justice correspondent for The Nation. So, Elie, this is my first time having you on the show. I just want to get your sense of the 3 contenders that the Associated Press is down to. Do you think this is a good, solid set of candidates? Is there someone on that list that you don't think should be on there, or is there someone not on it that you think should have been included?
Look, this is the field. This has almost always been the field from the moment Breyer announced his retirement. This was the likely kind of final countdown situation here. These people have been the front runners for this job pretty much since we knew that there would be this job open to a black woman for obvious reasons, frankly. All of them are very experienced. All of them are extremely well credentialed. All of them have been deeply vetted. I mean, you mentioned that Biden is starting the interview process. That's really the final interview process. That's the last like handshake. Let me make sure you don't have 2 heads. Let's go. The vetting process has been going on for quite some time, especially with Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was a finalist for the appointment that went to Merrick Garland in the Obama administration. So these are known quantities to this White House, and one of them is about to be a known quantity to the rest of the country. But these were always the front runners for this job.
So none of these contenders, the final 3, are in the tradition of Marshall, right? So they're not incredibly progressive in that way. They have progressive qualities, some of them, but also there are, some things that black people are taking issue with on the issue of sentencing, or the way they handle things, or in one case, suing or representing companies who were fighting employees who were claiming discrimination of some sort. Does all that matter, or how much does that matter for black people writ large when they look at these candidates? Or do you believe that there'll be some sort of, circle the wagons, it has to be one of these people, so we have to defend them even if there were certain things that we don't agree with?
Well, I'll say it. I'll start at the end and say yes, there should be a circling of the wagons, and we should try to defend whoever Biden picks because it's a historic appointment, regardless. And I do trust all of these any of these finalists. To say nothing of the extended list, any of these finalists, I think, will make a great Supreme Court justice and a much better justice than alleged attempted rapist Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, or Neil Gorsuch. So I think that let's just set the bar there. However, and I don't know how much real talk you want, but like, come on. Part of my reluctance to really like go all in on some of the harsher sentencing that some of these judges have made is we have to understand that these women want the job. They wanted to be appointed to higher and higher courts, and one of the ways you get appointed in front of the Senate historically has been to be quite harsh when it comes to sentencing. This idea of a progressive prosecutor, that was invented like 5 minutes ago, right? And for the past 25 years, if these people have been making their way through their careers, being a progressive prosecutor who is more compassionate and understanding about crime as opposed to harsh about it, that's new. And so I tend not to want to over penalize people who have been perhaps harsh in the past. That doesn't mean, from my perspective, that they will be harsh in the future. However, to me, obviously, there are people. Let's put it like this: Ketanji Brown Jackson, for instance, actually has worked on the U.S. Sentencing Commission to reduce sentences for people who were convicted harshly, and there aren't a lot of other candidates in this current field who have that kind of on-point experience, right? Brown Jackson was also a former public defender. Aren't a lot of candidates in this field who have that kind of experience. So if you want to find a person who is taking a more progressive, a more holistic, a more modern, shall we say, view of sentencing, there's at least one candidate in this field who fits that bill, I think, to a T.
Yeah, I think you just tipped your hand, and I got to look at your cards. I think I see where you're going with this. So let's talk about Judge Kruger for. Let's talk about Judge Kruger for a minute. So she has a reputation as being a consensus builder, and people who support her say that you could compare her to Justice Breyer. Does any of that matter? I mean, I'm very curious about this idea of consensus builder. My understanding of the court is that's not the way it works, right? So they're not sitting around in each other's office, sipping coffee, trying to negotiate with each other about how you're going to vote about something. It doesn't matter how much consensus you built in your lower offices. What matters is judicial philosophy when you get to the court and how strongly you can make your case, and the opinions that you join are right. How much does this idea of consensus builder matter or should matter in the consideration of a Supreme Court justice?
It should not matter at all. And the people who still think it does are living in a fantasy land from 100 years ago where all these 9 white guys would sit around and have brunch and figure out the future of the nation. That's not how it works anymore. That hasn't been how it's worked for at least 50 or 60 years. You think some of these conservatives, you think a Samuel Alito cares about the consensus building of a colleague on the court? Samuel Alito doesn't care what the law says half the time. If it gets in the way of his agenda, neither does Neil Gorsuch. So the idea that you're going to come in, again, it's a very old school, it's a very old school idea that you can build a consensus on the Supreme Court to get Republicans to stop their agenda that they have been working towards for a generation. That just ain't going to happen. What you want is somebody who can argue vociferously and passionately their view and their view of the law, and even if it is only going to be in dissent, to set up that dissent so it is something that people can glom onto in the future. Charles, this really links back to your earlier conversation that you had at the top of the show about what Biden's commitment is to the Black community. Yes, he promised that he would appoint a Black woman justice, and that is great from a kind of optics scenario. But on the ground, we're still appointing the 3rd dissenter on a 6-3 court. Biden has done nothing to expand the court, to cut the power of this generationally conservative court. He's done nothing to promote the voting rights that this court has taken away step by step over the course of the past 5 to 10 years. He's done nothing to overcome qualified immunity and other judicial doctrines that allow for police brutality. And those are the things that are kind of ultimately more important than the optics of a black woman Supreme Court justice. It is a great historical moment, but this particular woman in this moment will not have a lot of power other than the power of persuasion, the power of dissent, the power of setting a marker for the future. And that's why a judge like Leondra Kruger is certainly an attractive option, because of her ability to write, quite frankly, and articulate a case, even though she would likely be on the losing side of many of these issues.
Right. And she's 45 years old, would be the youngest person on the court and will likely outlive all the rest
you
of
and I are writers.
Elie
We know
Mystal,
the value of being able to put your ideas in words.
Right.
Would that I had another 30 years to do it, that's a pretty neat trick.
Right.
That's what Kruger has going for.
Elie Mystal, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate your time.